5,
4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome everyone, my name's Mark Allen Lovewell. I'm a folk singer from the island of Martha's Vineyard, and seated right next to me is the most wonderful lady I know, Molly Conole. She's also from Martha's Vineyard, and together we put together this show, Sunday at Sea.
We have a good time.
Thank you for joining with us. We are now overlooking the Columbia River.
Oh my goodness.
In this amazing place called the Inferno Lounge. This is the second time we're here. This is an honor to go to anybody's home and be invited back.
Absolutely. So we must have been good.
That was supposed to be funny.
Behaved.
Anyway, the idea is that we're back, and it's here, and it's familiar. And Rich and Jan, they're just wonderful people.
Hosts. Give them a hand. Thank you so much for making us feel welcome. Setting everything up here for us. Thank you. We have a few other thank yous too. Thanks to the Fisherpoets Gathering that happened this weekend here in Astoria, and we were asked to be guests and performers for that, and we're so grateful for that invitation. That's an honor. And thank you to KMUN Radio. Joanne Rideout is right here, arranged an interview for us on the radio, and we have had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thanks to the Fisher Poetry Archive, run by Brad Wortman behind the camera. So many people thank. And thank you to Susan Gebhardt, who arranged this whole event for us here and got wonderful publicity for us. So we're just extremely grateful to all of you for coming here too, because that's what we do this for, just to have fun with you all. Yeah.
It's raining outside, and you look across, you can't see to the other side of the river. It's both, the fog is that thick, and the width of this river is so wide. And it is amazing to me because it's like home on the East Coast. Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket have places in the country that have the highest level of fog, and I think you folks have that same opinion about your area too as well. In fact, the fog is so thick you could stand outside and with a hammer and a nail a shingle to it.
Yeah, you can't see to the other side right now.
All right, so this song we're going to start off with is a song called Captain Maggie. And you're going to find the words for me so I can do it.
I will. We're going to do that.
And this is a song, a tribute to a lovely lady in our community, an imaginary lady, but a real lady in the sense that we are surrounded by women on the waterfront who get the work done.
Woo-hoo!
Am I right? Do you have a few here? Do we have a few here? Please say yes.
Yes.
And there's this amazing chorus that comes with it, and I hope you'll join with us
Because the chorus is "We'll toast to Captain Maggie." So raise your glass high when you hear
Raise
that.
your glass high. Say, we'll toast to Captain Maggie. Please do that.
That's right.
All together.
That's
We'll
right.
toast to Captain Maggie.
That's right. It's coming up.
And the rest of the chorus you'll get too.
You'll get it. And he wrote it.
Off the stern the water is churning. Lobster pots are dropped into the brine. At the wheel there stands a fine lady. She's the best of the fishing kind. Among us pot hollers south of No Man, there's a wicked strong wind, so beware. We leave the docks early in the morning to get the best of the day fishing out there. So we'll toast to Captain Maggie. Don't cut her off when you're tending your gear. She's fished with the best, there are only a few better. She's tough when they're going rough around here. Maggie sets her trawls along the bottom. Her vision is feeling around a world she can't see. She makes the best of a 6-fathom edge. Her days home will be better than me. Off No Man's shoreline, boulders don't care. They'll sink any boat that comes near. The waves, the winds, and those jagged rocks can send any boat down, so stay clear. Here comes your part,
So we'll toast to Captain Maggie.
Don't cut her off when she's tending your gear. She's fished with the best, there are only a few better. She's tough when they're going rough
around here.
Each morning she's dressed for work like all of us. No colorful dress or blouse around here. We know her by her worn orange grundins, tall black rubber boots, all men's fishing gear. At night, when her boat is in the harbor, she's all lady at the pub, among the finest and fair. She can twist and turn with any tune. On the dance floor, she's free without a care. Here we go.
So we'll toast to Captain Maggie. Don't cut her off when you're tending your gear.
She's fished with the best, there are only a few better. She's tough when they're going rough around here. One stormy night she was out fishing late. The fog slipped in, it chased her astern. When her boat finally landed, a man was awaiting. He stepped out of the shadow and under the glow of a lantern. We watched as he pulled out a wet paper bag. He handed it to her in that foggy night. She opened it, a bouquet of flowers. We all thought we saw her tears. Last time, here we go. So we'll toast the Captain Maggie. Don't cut her off when you're tending your gear. She's fished with the best. There are only a few better. She's tough when they're going rough around here. She's tough when they're going rough around here. She's tough when they're going rough around here. All right, I'm hoping so our audience is watching us on the show. Are they commenting? We got everything all right?
We got some visitors here right now.
Oh,
There's Connie and Carol.
East Coast.
And Carol. Oh yeah, Brad's there. Wait a minute, Brad's there and he's here. He's amazing. Thanks guys, it's great to talk to you from back home and here we are too. It's awesome. Wonderful. Yeah, we got others too that they're just shy about speaking up, but they're there. Awesome. Wonderful. So, we wanted to talk a little bit about this amazing community, didn't we?
Oh my gosh, this community is so amazing. I mean, I love the East Coast, but boy, this place is so astounding to me. And I know you folks, you've got the river right here to remind you every day that you're not far from the ocean. And I live on an island, Martha's Vineyard, and sometimes we have to remind ourselves that we live by the ocean. Sometimes we do. And when I come here and I walk around here and I have conversations with the fishermen and the friends and all these people, you get it. We all get it together, and it's. Am I right? Please say yes. 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 Am I right? Yes. We gotta make sure this is all right. We got a real audience here tonight. All right, here we go. We'll make sure.
We got a real audience. We got some guests too.
We'll do that.
Oh, we got. We're gonna have that.
All right, so we want to talk about. So anyhow, one of the most amazing stories that came out of your community that we heard about on the East Coast was that fire that was in Waco that had a huge impact. Please nod your heads. That had a huge impact on not just the fishermen who lost gear, but you. Because the stories that filtered their way around, this was in late January, a surprise, unexpected fire burned a wharf, right? A wharf, and a lot of crab fishermen lost their gear. Am I right? Please say yes.
Yes.
Now I urge anybody watching this show on Facebook, please Google it, because the story is amazing. Not just the fire, okay, but the response by the community here. And the community here included people afar.
All along the West Coast.
All along, these local fishermen lost all their gear in the fire.
Right at the start of the season.
Start
That
of
was
the
devastating.
And people started pouring in money to help replace. They not only poured in money, they poured in gear. And the last I heard, and I may be wrong, please Google it, look it up, because don't trust Mark. Over $400,000 were raised in 2 weeks or something. Am I right? Please nod your head. Am I right?
It was just
Am I
a lot.
right?
It was a huge response.
People care about their fishermen. Am I right? Please say yes.
Yes.
And that's marvelous. It's sad, but it is also human. It's also about you, a community that says, we got to help these people out. And,
right.
And that impacted us on the East Coast. We're all fishermen are all having a hard time. We're all having a hard time. And the good news is that the community cares about their fishermen. I come from an island that has a special town, and you know this harbor called Menemsha. And it's, whenever I walk through this walk-up area, and Susan showed it to us, it reminded me of my home, Menemsha. And for me to visualize in my own mind, what would happen if there was a huge fire? So it was really cool. It was really wonderful to read the stories that were coming out of here, reading them on the East Coast. So I invite you, please Google Waco fire, fish. That's all the 3 words in Google. And that's all you need. And then boy, oh boy, you'll get a piece. Am I right? Please say yes.
Yes. Now, speaking of fishermen here, we have a couple of not just fishermen, but fisher poets with us tonight. Some guests to be on our show.
Want to start off with Dave Densmore?
Well, let's do it. Let's do it.
So we were so lucky here. We have people to put on the show. So Dave, come on over here.
Give him a hand. Give him a hand. This is Dave Densmore.
And before you open your mouth, I want to talk.
There we go. I'll just aim.
Can you all see this wonderful man?
Imagine that.
And the other guy who's coming, he's wonderful too. I've known this man for a really long time. Dave Densmore. He's a commercial fisherman from here, and he's known by me as a fisher poet.
No, I'm a fisherman and a poet.
There you go.
I don't mind being corrected by you, boy. You correct me anytime. He and I go back, I want to say 20 years. We go back 20 years, and we both mutually knew a Menemsha fisherman named Jimmy Morgan.
Yep.
And you loved Jimmy Morgan.
Jimmy Morgan was a real prince of a man. I love Jimmy.
And he loved you.
No, I know. I called his wife Mom. I can't remember her name. It's just Mom.
Barbara.
Yeah, I know. Mom and Jimmy.
And he, because I saw him all the time, okay? He was part of my community, so I saw him. And he adored you.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of mutual respect there.
And his daughter, anyway. So the thing is, it's kind of cool when you get down to the waterfront, and you hang out with the waterfront. Get to know your fishermen, get to know your community, get to know the people who go fishing, go out every day, get it. And Dave he's an astounding poet. Google him.
Let's listen to him.
He's got books. And now I'm gonna shut up so he can tell you something, because otherwise I keep talking.
Well, one thing about Captain Jimmy, one year I was doing the schools. I think it was the year I did all the schools in Martha's Vineyard. It might have been, we just did 1 or 2 that year, I can't remember. But we also had the film, but they asked me to come in and spend some time talking to the kids. And I talked Jimmy into coming in, and he brought a sword off a swordfish. That was so much fun, man. That was about time he sold his boat. Now I can tell you a little story about when he did all right. I mean, I think he was 81, 82 and he sold his boat, and he was doing all right, walking away, and then John said he turned and looked back, and the tears started flowing. And he's a lifetime fisherman like me. There's not many of us left that have been our whole lives fishing, just about ever since we were born. And there's people that fish, and there's fishermen that no matter what, they stick and stay and just grind away, and you live and die by prices and by the tide. So, and Jim Morgan was one of those. He was a real deal.
So a lot of the people watching this show, they're all over. They don't know anything about Astoria or the river or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell them a little bit about what you do, what you've done?
Yeah, well, the river used to support a huge gillnet fleet, and it was It was beautiful. In the evening, when the tide was right, you'd hear the big V8 start up all up down the river, and it was like rolling thunder all down the river. And then the guys would go pouring out of their respective places, and then pretty soon you'd see the lights twinkling all up and down the river. And the river was vital and alive, and it just felt like that. Like you could feel the spirit. You could feel the spirit in the river. It's still there, but to me, it feels sick because it's not what it used to be. I remember when I was younger, there was tugs towing log rafts up and down the river, and there was gunnet boats, and there was charter boats and trawlers and so on going in and out of the river. So it's changed a lot, but it's still here. And down here, you were saying you can't see across. Well, we're right in the beginning of the estuary, actually, so it's widened out here. But it's a big river, and it's got a majesty. It's got a magic to it.
I want to say something nice about you again.
Well, don't spread on too deep.
I'm just going to say, you get a feeling that you're the keeper of the light when you carry those stories around with you. That there's depth. The river is in you. The stories of your livelihood is in you.
Oh yeah, I love the river, and I'll tell you, like I said, I've been a commercial fisherman all my life. I went back to the East Coast and up and down. I've done gigs from Carolinas up into Maine and so on. And I was out at Provincetown, out on the hook there, and talking to guys. And it seems to me like the small boat fishermen are disappearing. It's all going corporate. It's going big boat or go home, and it's a shame because that was the grassroots of the whole industry, the whole profession, as far as I was concerned, was the small 1, 2, 3 man boats.
East Coast and West Coast.
Oh yeah, it's both sides, yeah. And I seen it years ago when I was back there, and I was warning people. But anyway, it is what it is. So.
You have a poem for us?
Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, I happen to have right here. In fact, it pretty much describes me and all my brothers and sisters that spend their life at sea and are...
Let me just interrupt 1 second. This
Sure.
man is reading a poem, so please be quiet. You are a very lucky audience to be hearing him read aloud a poem. So please, quiet, please.
I will not be interrupted by your host, the most. It's called simply Commercial Fisherman. So he tells you he's a commercial fisherman. You say unknowingly, oh, that's nice. But what you may not understand, that pride comes with a very high price. He may speak of 20-foot seas or a boat that nearly went down, but you'll seldom see the sense of loss at memories of close friends gone or drowned. Or you may think probably his stories are stretched a bit for drama's sake, but his scars and the look in his eyes are impossible to fake. There may be one or more divorces. Long absences mean some things are hard to keep. Though it may be shrugged off with a joke or a curse, still the pain of loss runs mighty deep. Balancing the books against high overhead and lower prices seems the efforts are worth less all the time. The bank cares not about sleepless nights or flying spray or icy rime. Thoughts of all the family time he's missed as his children grew up with just memories of a father mostly gone, fishing, working his far off distant seas. 2 short nights and narrow bunks forcing tired muscles back to work, bills to pay, others depending, grinding on, no excuse to shirk. Some need booze, pot, or a woman in every port to help blot out the pain and fears. But just keep the faith and keep on fishing, has carried me through my share of heartache and tears. You probably won't hear much about the camaraderie of men sharing a hard, dangerous way of life, or the deep satisfaction and joy of a good haul. We're misfits, all in the world of 8 to 5 strife. So why would anybody want to do it? I guess there's many reasons why some try. But for us true fishermen, it's simply a calling. There is no simple reason why. So when he tells you he's a commercial fisherman and you respond so unknowingly, oh, that sounds so nice. please understand that here stands a man who has somehow, sometime paid a mighty high price. And as far as that price, I lost a king crab boat years ago in the Bering Sea, and was in a life raft for 4 long nights. We got out of it because we got ran over by a Japanese trawler that didn't see us in the middle of the night. It was snowing and blowing, and flipped the raft upside down. But there was one guy on deck, and he heard us hollering as we got up out of the water, and they stopped and picked us up. I was in the hospital for a month. They told me the first week I was in there they were going to take both my feet off, but I had a praying mother, and she saved my feet, I think. But and then a few years later, one of my uncles was running one of my boats and was crabbing, and it went down, and he died. And 2 years after that, my dad and my son flipped out of a skiff in Kodiak, and I found my dad's body next day, but I never found my son. So when I speak of dues being paid, I know what I'm talking about.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you. Please, everyone. Give Dave.
Thank you.
And know this. He lives here. He's here. Molly and I are leaving. He's one of your, anyhow.
He's a
that's
local
treasure
treasure.
fellow. Thank you.
For that story. I think we'll do a song, and then we got another.
Yeah, sure. That's a perfect one to do. Let's do it.
You know,
I need my fiddle.
You get your, oh yeah, this stuff.
Fiddle.
So this next song we're going to sing, Dave was just talking about fishing boats, fishing families, small fishing boats that fish the waters around here, fishing boats that fish the waters around where I'm from. Family-owned boats, not corporate-owned boats, but boats where the father and the son work together, and family members were on board, or uncles or nephews. It was a family business.
The boats are part of the family.
Yeah. Dave
Oh my
just said
God.
the boats are part of the family.
Boats
Yeah.
are the, yes. And when you listen to the words of this song, please pay attention
There we
because
go.
there's a lot of.
Hello, hello. Yeah. Got it.
Let's see if I get this mic. I gotta get my C on. Is it a D? What key do I do it? D.
C.
I do it in C. Okay.
Yep.
Let's see if we get that C harmonic. Dave, you're awesome.
Thank you for sharing that.
Dave, thank you. He's such. I tell you, the kids on Martha's Vineyard loved him. Loved him when he talked, when he walked around and met with the kids. And I know this because by profession I was a journalist, I was a reporter. And I got to write about him. Got to write about you all as often as I could.
Thank you.
All right, so imagine yourself with this family in a boat. This boat is called Sarah, but it could be a boat that you know. It could be a boat that someone else knows. I chose the name Sarah because I wanted to keep myself out of trouble with the different families that are on Martha's Vineyard. Because there's so many different boats. Mary and Verna, Mary
Dorothy and
Elizabeth.
Everett.
You know, so many people own boats, and if I chose one boat, I'd get in trouble with the other boat. So this is a composite. Sarah rose through the waves, sailing out to the sea, carrying a net full of our hopes and the dreams of the family. She is a fishing boat, she's our own. She's a home away from home. Rising, rolling, and rocking, Sarah carry us on. Carry us on. Through the Quicksole Passage, at dawn we're bound far away, leaving the town, the bright lights, and the sounds of the day. Leaving breakfast on the table, leaving our daughters and friends behind. We're heading east to the fish. Sarah, carry us on. Carry us on. The best measure of what we do is not the fish in the hole. Biggest payback isn't when the fish are sold. We got memories of Grandpa, a Highlander back in his day. We're carrying his story. Sarah, carry us on. Carry us on. Diesel engine sings below the deck, the wake swirls behind. Might tell you something about who we are and the sparkle in our eye. Doesn't hold the coin to the women we left at the dock. Garden in the backyard and the clothes hanging from the line. Riding on the ocean, turning with the tide. Hauling in that net, our friends by our side. By our side.
Open church.
Wait.
What page turn?
We're way up on George's, watching the whales swim by. Plenty of room for all of us when the fish finally arrive. I don't know what you're talking about, there's room enough out here. We're doing all right. Sarah, carry us on. Carry us on. The pilot house window is frosty. The radar spins round and round. Coffee's burnt, it's too hot. The autopilot is down. The net is coming back loaded. There are seagulls drifting nearby. We're done our fishing. Sarah, carry us home. Carry us home. Riding on the ocean, turning with the tide. Riding on the ocean, turning with the tide. Hauling in that net, our friends by our side. All right, one more verse, and this is the most important verse of them all. The wishes that we carry makes being out here so great, that our loved ones are cared for and their dreams they are met. We all want good weather, we want a lot of fish out here. We're turning to the west, Sarah, carry us home. Carry us home. Riding on the ocean, turning with the tide. Our sons, our grandsons, our granddaughters, and daughters by our side. Thank you, Dave. I didn't know I was going to do that tonight, but you just pushed me. Now, we got one more person we want to bring in here. Yeah, we just got one more person we want to bring in here. A wonderful fellow I've known for many years, Tom Till. Come on up, please. I want to introduce you.
Tom Hilton, here he comes.
Tom is a storyteller. Tom lives here.
Tom's a gill netter.
Tom's a gill netter. Yeah, tell us what you want to be known as. No, please. He actually works right up the street from me.
Go ahead and introduce me as you.
All right,
Make sure the mic is working. Make sure it's working.
What's that?
Is the mic working?
I don't know.
I
Is
don't
the mic working? Do you visit it? Testing.
We're good. We're
Now
good.
it is.
Yeah, okay. So the good news is this. The good news is that I'm surrounded by dear friends. It really is a treasure to have someone I've known for many years, Dave. Now, Tom and I have known each other as long as I've been coming to Fisher Poets, and he remembers when my son came as a Fisher Poet, and my son owns a fishing company in California. So Tom is you're almost family.
No, we are. We are.
We are family.
Yes.
And we stay in touch with each other through our Facebook posts and our stories, and it's so cool. And I have to bring him up to tell you. He's a gill netter. He's on the water. He knows the Columbia River as well as Dave does it, and he has his own stories. Please share with us.
Well, I grew up in Uniontown, Astoria. My dad is his family were Finnish immigrants. They lived on Smith Point. I'm an adopted kid. My mother was a Cowles Prairie Indian. Then they adopted me, and I grew up in Uniontown. My dad was a gill netter and a longshoreman. My grandfather was a longshoreman and a gill netter. And all my aunts, there was only 2 boys, 5 girls, and all my aunts and all my cousins, they all worked at Elmore Cannery Bumblebee down there at the foot of Lavelle Street.
You know what he's talking about? Please say yes.
So,
Say yes.
so I grew up at the end. Go ahead.
So I have a question for those of us back on the East Coast. What is a gill netter? Thank you very much.
A gill net is a diamond-shaped mesh that flows through the water. It's held up by a cork line, a line of corks or styrofoam. They used to be wood made of cedar. And then there's a lead line, and the lead line drags on the bottom and goes along the bottom of the river. And our main focus to catch is salmon, and pretty much that's all we catch, whether it's here in the lower Columbia River. We also catch sturgeon and salmonids, and that's what we do here. So that's a drift gill net. There's also a diver net, and that's a whole different mechanism. I always encourage people to come to Astoria and go to the Columbia River Maritime Museum, come to Pier 39 and get a real feel for what it's like to walk inside the cold storage of what it was like. So when I grew up at the end of the salmon industry. and what it was really like. So there were still canneries along the river, and there was still gill netting on the river. Not at all what we see today. All we see today is just very little fishing on the river.
You see a piece of.
Yeah, so now we see select area fishing, and so that's what we do. I'm a longshoreman, so as I sit here and I look out the river, I carry on my family's tradition. We look at bulk carriers, as the Columbia River's a very big river. We're looking across 5 miles from here, but if you look behind us, as we're sitting here towards the northeast, the river goes for about 14 miles across over to Deep River. So it's a big, vast body of water. But the channel runs right along here, right along the banks, right where we're sitting here at Pier 11 in the Inferno. So I was fortunate, I'm very lucky. I got the edge of the river, I caught the end of gill netting glory days on the river, and then I continued to fish with my buddies on the river. The one thing I really want to touch on was family. And so I grew up in a family, and I grew up in a neighborhood, Uniontown, and everybody knew everybody. And everybody stuck out for each other. So that's kind of how it was. And we grew up in net sheds. So there was sheds, there was canneries, there was trains that ran up and down this waterfront. And we would fish for suckers off the trestles and get run off by the trains. And it was a much different town than it is today. It was a town of industry.
Let me stop you. Does anybody remember anything that he's saying? Please raise your hand proudly. Because we want to acknowledge those who have a piece of what Tom is talking about. Because that's the legacy of your community. Tom carries it in the palm of his hand. I know
That's awfully nice. That's
it.
awfully nice. I'm going to say this is one of the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life. I've met a lot of nice people. But I'm going to jump to when he came to Pier 39, and I was running a crab tank, and I had a crab business out at the pier. And Mark pulls up in his car, and I'm like, "Hey, what do you think you're doing? You staying with us?" And he gets out, and here's this guy, he's just all happy, and I'm, what the heck is this guy? Because I'm not always nice.
I was
and happy.
much younger than that.
And
I'm grouchy now.
and he came, and we met, and he said, "I'm here for Fisherpoets," and his son was with him, and it was just a wonderful experience. He's just a wonderful person. So as every time he came, he comes to see me in Astoria. So in 2020, we used to have the church, we would call it, out at the pier, the Pier 39, the banquet room, and Mark sings, he comes and sings, and as he runs out to say goodbye, I had asked him for his hat he was wearing that day, and he ran out and gave it to me, and well, I think he put it on my head, and I have that hat today, and I had to dig around to find the hat because I have a good hat collection because I ask everybody for hats, but he gave me this nice hat, and I'm very fortunate for that.
He's very fortunate because I gave it to him because right now Molly and I sell hats. And t-shirts.
See, that's all this is. It's a marketing ploy for him to sell.
The end of my generosity. The last day of my generosity was with Tom.
Yeah, I can't, is this more than $25? Because I can't take it as a gift. I actually have to pay for this.
Oh, Susan's laughing over there. Anyway.
Yeah, I fished here. I also fished in Kenai, Alaska and Cook Inlet. I started going up there when I was a 13-year-old kid, and that was a much different place back then. It was a tin can alley, so there was 110 aluminum boats along the wall, and big fish processing plant. It was Kenai Packers, it was cannery, and they canned fish there. And they also did Sujiko egg roe, and they did some frozen fish. But most of the fishermen that were on the lower river, say from Kathlamet or Klatskanai down to Astoria, they were contract fishermen back in the day, and those fishermen were hired by the company to go and fish. And my dad was one of those guys. And his gang, the bunkhouse gang, they called him, the Kid, the Swede, E-Bone, and A-Bone, they all grew up here fishing on the river, and those guys stuck together. They're all gone now. And the entire bunkhouse gang is gone. But it was just a different time. And for a 13-year-old kid up in Alaska, and luckily my best friend was there, it was boring. And we had nothing to do, but we figured out how to catch fish. We knew how to do that. So we invented games, like we invented a game called cork balls. So we'd take a cork and play baseball with it. So it was really, all there was dirt, dust, and gravel. And that was it. I mean, don't get me wrong, Kenai's like Las Vegas compared to Bristol Bay. I mean, it really is. So, and then I did that. I fished there for quite a long time, and then got out of that. And I still fish on the river with my best friend, Troy Johnson. We go every gill net every spring and every fall, and that's what I do. And, you know, it's a...
Everyone, please give this man an applause. Oh, thank you.
That's it, I'm done. Jeez. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Tom, thank you. Oh my gosh. This show is going too quickly.
I know,
We're
right?
losing time here. What are we doing
I
next?
know.
We gotta.
We got it.
Want to do Cape Cod Girls?
Sure.
Let's do Cape Cod Girls.
Sure.
We gotta bring something from home here.
Yeah.
Martha's.
And then I think we should do this couple of closers there.
Yeah, we want to shout out. Oh my God, this is
So beautiful. So beautiful.
anyway. Everybody all right? Please say yes.
Yes. Cape Cod girls.
Let's do Cape
Tell us
Cod.
about those Cape Cod girls.
So, you know, we hear about salmon over here, all right? We're very respectful of that because there was a time, it was a long time ago, unfortunately, when cod was so plentiful in the waters around Martha's Vineyard, Cape Cod, and Nantucket, that the fish were so plentiful you could walk on the heads of the fish from one island to another. That's what I grew up here. And there was so much cod, of course, this is a fun story. In 1602, a guy named Bartholomew Gosnold came from England, came east looking for places to name. He named Cape Cod. And he named it obviously for what you might call it out here, Cape Salmon or something. He came up with the idea of Cape Cod. And that seemed pretty good. And then he named Martha's Vineyard, and we're still not clear why he did that. But Nantucket already had a name, but the name Cape Cod reflected it. Now, 18 years later, the Pilgrims came. And they had heard that Bartholomew had been there, and the Pilgrims came, whatever you told you in the history books, the reason why the Pilgrims came to Plymouth was because they knew there was food. It's so 200-300 years before tourism. They didn't come looking for fun. They were looking for food, and they're looking for winter food. So the idea is that cod was so plentiful in those days, and they hadn't invented supermarkets yet, so nothing came from afar. You had to fish what you got, what you ate, and you had to grow in your fields. You know that part of the story. So if you're living on a community that has lots of cod, you have to have a sense of humor about it.
Because you might be eating a lot of it.
That's right. There's not a lot on the menu when you're sitting down with Mom and she's looking around saying what I came up with today. Cape Cod girls, they only use no combs all the way, all the way. They comb their hair with codfish bones, and we're bound away for Australia. So it's even up my bully boys, all the way, all the way. Heave it up and don't you make a noise, and we're bound away for Australia. Cape Cod boys, they don't use no sleds. Help me. All the way, all the way. They slide down the dunes on codfish heads, bound away for Australia. So it's easy up, my bully boys. All the way, all the way. Heave it up, and don't you make a noise, and we're bound away for Australia.
Yeah, you're getting it. That's good.
I see people nodding their heads and singing. That's great.
That's awesome.
Well now, Cape Cod doctors, they don't use no pills. All the way, all the way. They feed their patients on codfish gills. Bound away for Australia. So it's even up, my bully boys. All the way, all the way. Heave it up and don't you make a noise. Bound away for Australia.
All right. We got a big choir here.
Oh my God. even see shanties anymore, you know. Cape Cod cats, they have no tails.
All the way, all the way.
They lost them to those southwestern gales.
Found a way for Australia.
So it's heaving out, my bully, bully boys.
All the way, all the way.
Heave it up and
Don't you make a noise. Found a way for Australia.
all right, now there's one more verse. And the good news, you know this verse, because it's the first verse. Well, now, Cape Cod girls that only use no combs,
All the way, all the way.
they comb their hair with
Codfish bones. Found a way for Australia.
so let's heave it up, my bully, bully boys.
All the way, all the way.
Heave it up and don't you make a noise.
Found a way for Australia. Found a way for Australia. All right.
Can I do something on the concertina?
Sure. We'd love to hear a little concertina.
We can do a sing-along or we could do an instrumental.
Can't get anything more salty than that.
You guys like to sing?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask that question again. Do you like to sing?
Yeah.
All right, this song is called Leave Her, Johnny, Leave Her. Say it with me.
Leave her, Johnny, leave her.
So easy, right? This is a song about leaving, not a woman, leaving a ship. Visualize yourself being on a vessel for too long. And you can't wait until you get into port. You're anxious. You're hungry for getting on the land. And this song was written so long ago. Well, the times are hard and our wages low. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. And the grub was bad and the wind did blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. While the voyage is done and the gales do blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Okay, now you can put yourself into this song. Move into it. Here we go. Well, I thought I heard the old man say. What did he say? Leave her, Johnny, leave her. We can go ashore and we'll take our pay, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Won't leave her, Johnny, leave her. While the voyage is done and the gales do blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Well, our sails are furled and our work is done.
Leave her, Johnny, leave her.
And it's time for us to go ashore and have some
Fun.
And it's time for us to leave her. Last time. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Well, the voyage is done and the gales do blow, and it's time for us to leave her. right, we have time for one more song.
Oh, we got a request for Drunken Sailor.
Well, we talked about, we could keep going, right?
One?
All right,
All right, do Drunken
No, let's
Sailor
do this
first.
one. Let's do this one. Yeah, that's right. No, because, well, I mean, the beauty of this is Brad is a man behind the camera, okay? And you've got to love him because you really do need to love him because what he does with this, he's recording this, okay, part of it, and he creates things that are on YouTube, puts on YouTube. And the beauty of Brad is he gets to do whatever he wants with what we record. And in most cases, in all cases, he makes it better than the show really was. So this is 7th fret, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do this one or Drunken Sailor?
No, we'll do. I thought we'll do this one.
We'll do this one first?
We'll do it
All right, we're going for the sweet one first, then we'll end with the raucous one. How's that?
This will warm your heart. This is a song Molly wrote.
This one reminds me of some stuff that Dave shared before because life out there is hard and life is dangerous and it has some things that you might be from time to time need to say a prayer about because it's tough out there. And that's what this song is about. Yeah, that's what this song is about. Did we get it back again? I think we're back again. Yep, there we go. All right. Oops, I got it.
So here's the good news. She wrote a song where nobody else had written a song. And you know, I often attend Blessing of the Fleet. You know what that means, right? When the early spring or something like that, they have a minister go down to the shoreline and meet with the boat owners, and they parade around and they give them a blessing, right? Say yes.
Yes.
You know what that is. That's not a foreign new story, right? You know it, right? Please say yes.
Yes.
So I'm asked, so I asked Molly, will you write a song so that we could, this song, you're going to love it. It's the sweetest
So
song
this
you
is
ever
my
heard.
homework assignment. Oh, the life upon the sea is as hard can be. So we turn our hearts to God as we pray. Guide us safely day and night. May our winds be warm and light. Help us ride the waves to see another day.
With a heaving hold to shore, make our blessings
Many more.
as we count them, see them multiply by 10. Keep our hearts away from pride as we journey far and wide. Keep us safe and bring us home once again. Oh, the bounty of the sea is as fickle as can be, but we chase it, guided by your steady hand. Help us find the fish we seek, just enough to last the week for our families that we left upon the land. With a heaving hold to shore, make our blessings many more. As we count them, see them multiply by 10. Keep our hearts away from pride as we journey far and wide. Keep us safe and bring us home once again. us be brave. Guide us as we catch each wave. From trough to crest, please keep us homeward bound. Help us ride through gust and gale with a sturdy mast and sail. See us through another day on Vineyard Sound. Or Columbia River. With a haven over to shore, make our blessings many more. As we count them, see them multiply by 10. Keep our hearts away from pride as we journey far and wide. Keep us safe and bring us home once again. Lucky? Please say yes. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Louder. All right, Drunken Sailor.
Oh yeah, that's a
yeah,
great
yeah,
sing-along. Let's do it.
Oh my gosh.
We don't even need
I'm
to
looking at
find
Brad.
that.
Brad's smiling, sorry. Now this is the most popular sea shanty in the world, right?
You're gonna know
Am I
this
right?
one.
Please
You
say
know
yes.
this one.
And I'm hoping you'll all join in with us, right? Please say yes, yes? I'm sorry. You're gonna help me with this song. I know most of you have a glass in front of you. You're gonna help me with this song? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? Early in the morning. Way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises early in the morning. Haul 'em on top of the mast, oh yes, and haul 'em on top of the mast, oh yes. Haul 'em on top of the mast, oh yes, and early in the morning. Well, that's way up she rises, way up she rises early in the morning. Well, we'll give him a cold shower until he's sober. Give him a cold shower until he's sober. Give him a cold shower until he's sober early in the morning. Well, that's way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises early in the morning. Well, we'll shave his belly with a rusty razor. Shave his belly with a rusty razor. Shave his belly with a rusty razor early in the morning. Well, that's way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises early in the morning. Well, put him in the bed with the captain's daughter. Put him in the bed with the captain's daughter. Put him in the bed with the captain's daughter early in the morning. Way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises early in the morning. Well, that's what you do with a drunken sailor. That's what you do with a drunken sailor. That's what you do with a drunken sailor early in the morning. Way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises early in the
All right. Rolling home. We got to do one
All right,
more.
we're going to one more. Rolling know.
We're gonna teach you an East Coast song here. This was collected by a sea shanty collector, and he wrote a couple of books about him and wrote the tunes down too. That was a great service he did for those of us who, you know, might not have been around when those original tunes were sung. So we can find them in these books and dig them out, and this was collected by Gale Huntington. You can look up his name, Gale Huntington. You can sometimes find his books. They're out of print, but you can find them around there. And they have great sea shanties in them, and this is wonderful.
It's my opinion that this song was more popular in its day than anything Elvis Presley ever did.
It went everywhere.
There's nobody here to disagree with me. Just visualize in your mind in the days before recorded music, that if you wanted music, you had to make it yourself. That music was not a spectator art. You didn't sit in the sidelines, you participated.
And all
you
of you
joined
have been
in.
participants tonight, so you're
And-
music makers. Yeah.
And this song, we don't know who wrote it, but it was written well before the Civil War. It came out of the whaling era. And it was learned by one sailor, he passed it on to a second sailor, and that sailor passed it on and went from one ship to another. That song traveled the world. The song traveled the world on ships years before the words were written down. The amazing story of folk music, if you ever look into it, it's just such a journey, wonderful journey. We human beings need music. So of course, music was a part of every ship. Life was hard on those ships. Just as music is a part of every farming community. Wherever they gathered, wherever there was work, wherever they needed rhythm, songs were created. And we are the beneficiaries. And I love saying this, these are the gifts to us by those who came before us. And you're going to love this song if you've never heard it before.
It's
For in 3
easy.
months,
Easy chorus. Yeah.
in 3 months, you're going to wake up in the middle of the night at 3 o'clock in the morning, and that melody is going to come to you, and you're going to turn to your significant other, and you're going to say, oh my God, I hear that song again. This is a song that out-survived, outlasted, kept going, and is still going today.
And you can help us with that.
And thank you so much for being a wonderful audience. Do you want to say anything nice to anything about us? We want to thank you all as a wonderful audience. To all those of you on Facebook, I want you to know these folks are just beautiful. This audience is real, they're live, they have so much to say to each other, but they're sitting quietly and listening to us. These are people who are getting together for an evening to have a good time out and catch up on the details of their day, but they chose to listen to us. And we are most appreciative.
And to Dave and Tom, and we're very appreciative for our
Oh
special
my
guests.
The greatest gift you can give to this establishment, the greatest gift you can give to us, is to pass this around as a story in your life. Share it with others. Let people know what you did tonight that was so unique, so different.
All on hands to man the capstan. See the cable running clear. Heave away and live the world, boys. For New England we do steer. Here's the chorus.
frosty morning, and the sails were full of snow. Tighten those sheets and pulling those halyards. Let her off and let her go. Rolling home, rolling home, rolling home across the sea. Rolling home to dear New England. Rolling home, dear All right, this is the last verse. This is the last time you're going to have a chance to sing sea shanties for a while.
At least with us.
So this verse is called Last Call. If any one of you have been reluctant to participating in singing sea shanties tonight, this is your last chance. Many thousand miles behind us, many thousand miles to go. The ocean lifts her waves to bring us to that bell, putting number ashore, rolling home. Rolling home, rolling home across the sea. Rolling home
To this place.
to the Columbia River.
Rolling home.
Dear God to thee. Thank you, everyone.
Let's bring our special guest back up too. Have an extra bow. Come on, guys. Come on up here.
Oh my God,
Come
Dave,
on
Dave,
over here.
can you come on?
Yeah. Dave and Tom, one more round of applause for them.
Come on, please, gentlemen.
Yeah. Yeah. Wave to our folks at home. Yay.
Come on, step in here. Come on, I want the light to get on your face. There you go.
That's right. Scooch together.
Wasn't this an amazing show? Thank you, everybody. You're all wonderful. Thank you. Come all young sailormen, listen to me. I'll sing you a song of the fish in the sea. Blow, ye winds, westerly, westerly blow. We're bound to the southward, so steady she goes.